your thumbnail? What kind of thumbnail is
Is it not me?
Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're having a good day, good night, good week, good weekend, depending on where you're watching this video. So my name is Jennifer Mugisha and welcome back to my channel. I posted part one of my testimony, and today, as I promised, I am doing part two with the one and only Mr. My husband. Please clap. Yay! So I'll let him introduce himself quickly and then we'll jump right into it.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Chukwuemeka Okereke. Very nice to meet you, and I'm happy to be part of this testimony. And my prayer is that it actually brings about the reward. It actually touches hearts, and God will be praised at the end of the day.
All right, so there he is. So first of all, guys, I would tell you he has gone through a lot to be here. He's usually very much in the background. I'm the one mostly doing videos, being out there. He's doing us good, and it is an honor to have him join us to share this testimony together. Okay, so we'll jump right into it. I think the last time or the last part I ended on how we met. I didn't really tell people how we met, but I did share on the instructions that God gave me and the prophetic works or prophetic acts I started to apply in order to see the area of marriage change after doing the biggest instruction that God gave me, which was to forgive my father and go and reconcile with him. I'm going to repeat the reason why we're sharing this testimony so that people can understand we're not just here to share a love story. That's not our goal. Our goal is really to share that there are some times where in our lives we may be stuck, not because of anything else, but because we have an open door that we have let the enemy kind of like take over, knowingly or unknowingly. In my case, it was specific to my father's or unforgiveness towards my father. That was really the main thing. But I thought I dealt with it, as I've said in my previous video, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But really, in this video, we're sharing on the results of that forgiveness, the good side of actually forgiving and deciding to move on with your life and allowing God to actually do what He planned to do in your life by releasing other people that you may be holding in your life. So that's why we're sharing this testimony. There's a lot of testimonies out there about how people met and their love story and so on and so forth. Yes, we love our story. I hope you find it interesting because we find it interesting. There are so many things that humans can call coincidences, but we know with God it's not a coincidence. Okay? So again, that's why we're sharing this. It is to encourage whoever that's out there to really ask God again, hey, God, I thought I dealt with ABCD. Could there be something that is holding me back from me walking into the promise that you have for me? And secondly, this is also to help singles out there that, I believe in God for the area of marriage and are maybe at an age where they feel it's no longer possible or where they feel they've gone through a lot of relationships that are not really amounting to anything and they feel like it's not going anywhere. We've been there, trust me. And you will see our story once we share. And if you watch my part one, you have seen definitely my side on how I lived my life and how my love life was going. So this is also to encourage singles out there that are still believing God to answer them and answer them quickly. So yeah, we'll jump right into it on how we met. I was in 2023 when I initially finished the part one. So people are still kind of waiting to find out exactly how we met, which is somewhat of a mystery. Only a few people really know the full story. So we'll try to give you guys the essential, the important parts, and then in about a few minutes we'll wrap it up, because as we said, we're not here to necessarily just share everything about our lives. We're just here to encourage and pray that this testimony will help somebody out there. As I personally had already promised God that there are things when He does in my life, I will share with those that need to hear. So yeah. Also, Chukwuemeka specifically, my husband is very private. So I'm not sure how long we're gonna have these videos up here. Okay. So my encouragement is watch it as soon as you can, share with your friends as soon as you can, because God can always give us an instruction of, hey, maybe just leave it on for 3 months or 1 year. We never know what God is going to instruct, but that's where we are at for now. So let's jump right into it. In 2023, sir, how did we meet?
Okay, so we didn't meet in 2023. I'd say it was coincidental, really, because I was in a stage of my life where I wasn't really in a relationship that was going well, so to speak. So I decided to just try my hands again out on dating apps, really, to see how it goes. Christian dating app, I tried out a couple of crazy apps in the past and not the very good results. So I did try my hands out on a Christian dating app and, put myself out there. And it wasn't too long after I got a match, and it was her. Uh, I'd say what captivated me was the intro. No, well, I think what captivated her was my intro, the way I had described myself and stuff I look out for and things like that. And she asked me a couple of questions, and that kind of pricked my interest, really. And that's pretty much how it started off. We got the opportunity. We got talking. Well, we got chatting first. Um, then we got. I think it was about after about a month or so, we did a video call.
Yes.
On the app. Yeah, I recall very vividly. We did a video call on the app, and getting to know each other better. That's to avoid being catfished. So I could see who she is or who she was at the time, and she was able to see me, and I liked what I saw. But then it was also important to also get to see her in person. So we had a plan of where to meet. I recall it was a Sunday sometime in 2023 where we met, and
Yes.
We got into a lot of conversations.
It was around May in 2023, I remember, because there was a long weekend where we went, where we tried to go on a second date. It was in May, like the long weekend, Victoria weekend.
That the first date went well. When I listened to her speak, I asked her certain questions about her life, about herself, about her personality generally. I never asked her questions around what color she likes and stuff like that, but I just try to get a good feel of the kind of person that she is, and it was good. It was good. I have to say, we did go on about 2 dates, right?
Yes, and yes, we did go for a second date, which was interesting, and that's where I'm about to go. But before I get there, I want to talk about my side of being on the Christian dating website, and I think
Right.
this is going to demystify how a lot of Christians feel, especially women. Women sometimes feel about being on a Christian dating website. So my thing was, in 2023, remember I told you guys that December 2022, I prayed to God and I had the shoes where I decreed and where the Holy Spirit was putting on my heart that those shoes were going to represent the journey that I'll be walking into with my future husband that I was going to meet. And I was decreeing and declaring that I was going to meet him in 2023. Don't know how, don't know where, don't know his name, nothing. Okay. So come in 2023, because I was really praying on the subject of marriage, not necessarily idolizing it, but I was taking it seriously. Also because a lot of pastors and a lot of friends and prophet friends, because I have some, they were just like, you pray about everything very seriously, but you never really pray about your marriage seriously. And I think you need to take that subject seriously based on the instruction God was giving them. So I started to pray about marriage pretty seriously, that I said in part 1. So I, I always knew, because every girl makes a list, or some men also make a list on what they want. I always knew I wanted somebody from West Africa, and I wanted somebody who was Anglophone. Don't ask me how, don't judge me. It was just in my heart. I guess that's just how God, puts things on your heart in advance. You start to pray about them. You know you love certain things, but you don't know why you love them. I just always did. I just always wanted somebody who's Anglophone and from the West. I don't know how to explain it. It was just this thing that was just in my heart. So it wasn't necessarily a deal breaker if the person was not from West Africa. It was not Anglophone, but I needed some sort of English because I'm more Anglophone than Francophone. And I needed someone that when we're communicating on an emotional level, spiritual level, on every level, I needed to be able to express myself 100% without being stuck in some other language. And I also always found it fancy to be with somebody from a whole different culture and country. I was just always like, it sounds so interesting, so many things to find out. Anyway, so at my church, most people were mostly francophone. So that was already like, God, how? There were some guys that were bilingual and spoke pretty good English, and actually could communicate, but just never worked. So I was like, you know what? Where else can I really meet people out there? I'm not very much someone that goes out there into parties and crazy events, but I was like, because of my time and how much time I don't have on my schedule, maybe let me just try a Christian dating website. I have nothing to lose because sometimes there's a lot of other Christians in the same city, but you don't know about them and you've never met them. And you also don't know which opportunity you get to see them, especially that on a dating website, 90% of the people they're there to actually date. Now, that doesn't mean they're good. That doesn't mean they're Christian for real. That doesn't mean they follow Christ for real. But as I've said before, the devil is in the church the same way he's online. So it's up to you to discern and ask God to protect you and keep you out there. Every time I put in my information on the dating website, I was praying in tongues because I was like, God, please let me not land on a crazy individual. Anywho, let me tell you guys something. So that's how I signed up for the app, the Christian app. And I was like, oh, this is different. Oh, okay. Then I landed on his profile. And then I saw his long Nigerian name. I was already like, oh, no, not a Nigerian. Oh, God. The reputation out there of these Nigerians is a whole different thing. Lord, please, no. But then he had put a description in English. And when I played it, it was so neat, good English, sounded educated, sounded very articulate. I'm like, okay, all right, there's some depth here. We could work with this. Okay. No, but seriously. And then I liked that you did the audio because most people just put a quick description and then they leave it at that. And I hated when people just put like one picture and then one line. It didn't show seriousness, but for him, he had put a video, he had put maybe 2, 3 pictures, he had put a description, so there was material to work with, and I could see that okay, he looks like he's serious to possibly meet someone on a serious note, because otherwise he wouldn't take that much time to do it unless it's also a crazy guy out there. Okay, so I was like, he sounds very articulate. So let's like and let's, chat and let's see. And then that's how we get to the part of, talking to each other, as he said. and they did date one, did date two, and then
Yeah, we yeah, I think we did about 2 dates.
yes.
Yeah. So we did 2 dates, and I mean, it was good. Fortunately, I was having a situation on my end. So despite the fact that I was dating her, I let's say my ex still came back into the picture, so to speak, and that kind of affected my thought process. So I wasn't exactly firmly in tune with her. I wasn't always responding as well as I should have been because at that point I was like
Mhm.
caught between
A rock and a
a
hard
rock and a
place.
hard place, really. So I just wasn't too sure. So I wasn't always as responsive as I used to have been. And I think she then asked me, because it was after a date we had had. I recall she then, asked me what's really going on. Then I sent a voice note that, this is where I am, this is what's going on, and, I'm struggling to make a decision and all of that. I think it was a couple of weeks later, she did, called me and said, "Look, listen, if you're not able to make up your mind, I think I'll make the decision up for you, so to speak." You know, I think she said something around the fact that you'd rather be with somebody who is available, so to speak, on an emotional level, something like that. I don't really recall the full details
Yes.
anyway, but I think it was something, along
I
those
basically
lines.
said I will pull myself out of the situation because I want to be with a man that wants me for me and does not have any, I wouldn't call them plan Bs or make me a plan B. I really wanted to be with someone that makes me a priority and where I don't feel, I wouldn't call it a threat, but I don't feel like you have stuff around you that I don't understand. I needed a man that was clear emotionally and also emotionally available. I needed that absolutely, or else let's be friends, which is what actually ended up happening. So I pulled myself out of the situation and we stayed friends.
Yeah.
We stayed friends in 2023, and then I had my birthday in July 2023. I still invited him to come to my birthday, but as a friend, because he's introverted and he wanted to start going out
Yeah.
and meeting people and visiting different areas in the city where we live. So I invited him to my birthday. We had fun. I really was not paying attention to him like that. I was just, yeah, it's my birthday. I'm inviting friends. He's there. He enjoyed his time as well. We went our separate ways. That was July 2023. So we remain friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
We remain friends, but it was, I would say, casual friends. It was just, hi, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Long time, two lines, and then we move on. Everybody goes on with their life. And then in 2024 February, he reached out to me to do an activity together, but I wasn't available. I had a concert to go to. I was like, nope, can't make it. I still remember it so vividly. Like, no, can't do it. So apparently, February 2024, you wanted to do something
Yeah. So
or say something, I guess.
yeah, I actually hoped to say something in 2024 because I had gotten to a level where I thought, yeah, we're still friends, we're not in a relationship per se, but despite the fact that we had separated in quotes, she still stayed very much in touch, because the way it felt to me was in all the other relationships I had had, when there's a bit of a breakup or something like this, delete, block, never call back again. But in her case, it wasn't like that. She was always keeping in touch, even way much more than I even expected. So she was always checking on me, calling me, trying to know how things are, praying for me, praying with me once in a while, I guess. Maybe I'm not so sure, but
Yeah, mostly praying for you because
praying for me.
you were
Okay.
looking for work, and then I would ask you also to send me a resume because my work sometimes would be hiring, and so on and so forth. But guys, it was really platonic, huh? There was absolutely no interest. I mean, my organs had left that ship a very long time ago, so I was no longer pursuing that at all. I was not even seeing him as a potential at all. I don't know. I don't know how to explain, but I was not attracted to him like that. Um, I feel like where he was at in life, I don't know. It was vague for me. So I was like, nah, I don't know. I just don't see it. But a friend of mine kept telling me, like, hey, stay friends with people. Don't just block them. You never know one day and all that. So that's why I kept here and there to say hi. But I didn't really have interest to see anything in the future at all. I was just like, whatever. It is what it is. But yes, so that was February 2024. But you wanted to say something in February 2024.
Yes.
It's just that I wasn't available.
Exactly.
All right. So I guess he'll tell us one day what he wanted to say. But in February 2024, your girl was not available. And me, I kept moving on with my life. So, and so did he as well on his end. Um, And then around, I think the same end of February, March, someone that I was speaking to before came back into the picture, into my life. I'm like, And it was matching the criteria that I told you guys, somebody from the West, speaks English, and Christian. I'm like, this is giving what it's supposed to be giving. Another Nigerian, but wasn't living in the same city as I was. And I'm like, long distance, I don't know, but they told us to be open. So what do we have to lose? I met him online as well on a Christian dating website. Very nice guy overall, and so on and so forth. But there were just things that was not working for me. So I believe after like 2 months, I was like, nah, no, 3 months possibly. I was like, nah, this is not for me. November 2024, after healing from the previous relationship, if I can call it that, I decided to take again my prayer life pretty seriously. I wasn't giving up. I'm not the kind to give up easily. My friends will tell you, like I'm very committed um, to the things that I want. So I joined a group of other single ladies, Christian single ladies, at my church. We were just on the side praying. It wasn't necessarily like a church ministry or anything like that. And shout out to the Kingdom ladies, very helpful because you have other people with you. We were encouraging each other, sending each other videos, sermons, whatever it took to keep the faith because we were all above 30. Not to say that there's anything wrong with being 30 and not being married or above 30 and being married, but we were all ready, if I can put it that way, or wanted to be married. One day, I remember I wrote in the group and I said, ladies, at this point, as the Bible says, the kingdom of God suffers violence and the violent taken by force. So here's a declaration I propose to you guys. We need to confess it, speak it, and we never know by faith because life and death is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat of its fruit. So I created this, declaration. I pinned it in the group, and then we started to declare it every day for those who wanted. And basically, the declaration briefly was talking about the fact that I'm a child of God. I'm made into God's image. I'm not born of flesh, but I'm born of the Spirit. So it is not my parents' blood flowing through me, but it is the blood of Jesus flowing through me. And God will be able to bless me with a good marriage, a godly husband, a man that loves God, a man that will love me, a man that I will love as well, and so on and so forth. So it was like you speak it out loud so that it becomes your reality and you start to believe it because faith, you have to act
Yeah.
No choice. And then there was a line in that declaration where we said that we want to meet our person by so and so date. So every lady put date or month or year they wanted in there. Me, I put precisely God. I know I said 2023. I don't know why I never met anybody in 2023, with whom things worked. 2024 is here. We're almost in December 2024. Wagwan. So I said, I want to meet the person. I want the person to be serious, to speak to me, tell me their intentions by December 2024, which was just like a month or 2 months away, because that was around November. A few weeks later, I lost my job. So my brother and I decided to travel and go back to see my father, whom I had met for the first time in 2023. And that's where the forgiveness journey again, we insert it in. My brother and I went to meet my dad and his family. I put that on my YouTube channel for those who don't know what I'm talking about. You can go back to the other videos and you'll be able to bump into it. Now, in that same November, I continue my declarations, right? Because I'm like, God, December 2024, it's in a month. I don't know how. But when I was there with my brother, I had time because I used to be very busy, okay? Extremely busy with a lot of things. And I basically didn't have that much time for other things. But my friends were like, you really need to start making time for love and all of that. I'm like, well, I don't have that time. And unless somebody is serious with me, then I'll make time. But for now, I'm not going to make time. Well, November 2024, I finally had time. And I was with my brother in my dad's house for like 2 weeks. I didn't have a job. And the only thing I had was food and rest. So I had time. All of a sudden, coincidentally, or should I say around the same time, is also when?
Yeah, that was the same time when it hit me that, if somebody who you had broken up with still continued, keeping the friendship, if I may call it that way, going, calls, texts, checking on me, helping me with a job and everything, there must be something there, So when November came, while she had traveled, I think you had put up some pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was like my cue to come in and start asking questions. So I was always asking her how it was going, what did you do today? What's new about the place? I was just asking all these questions because I did have interest, but then coming from a place where I had, you could say, messed it up initially, it was kind of tough to go directly. So I was kind of like beating around the bush, just to make sure that, just to bring back that little spark, if there was any still left. Yeah, that was the whole intention. So I did that for a good while.
Yeah, we spoke for like a few weeks,
mhm.
but it was just chill
Yeah,
because I had time. And I think at that time too, you were transitioning between two jobs.
yeah.
So you also had some sort of time. Let's just say all of a sudden both of us had time, which we didn't really have time before. But when we were speaking to each other, it was just again friendship. Me, I had absolutely no interest. Nope.
Yeah, me, I had interest.
And I didn't know.
Yeah, my interest was there, and I did tell her to get me a gift, which was like
Out of the blue,
out of the
actually.
blues. Yeah, I never thought, I never really put it in mind that she would get something. I'm like, let me just say it. Who knows?
And
Whatever.
get you a gift because it was your birthday
Because it was my
when I
birthday.
was away in November 28th.
Hmm.
Guys, you need to keep these dates in mind because what you're about to hear will drive you crazy. Okay? November 28th, 2024
Yeah.
was your birthday, and I
Hmm.
was in the US.
Yeah.
And we had met about a week before.
Mhm.
We went to dinner, and that's when you were like, you should get me a gift when you go to the US and all of that. And I was in my head, I was like, oh, okay, no problem. But obviously, I'm like, I'm not gonna get no guy no gift. We're just friends. I don't even know what to get you. So
Yeah. So yeah, I made the request, not really expecting much because like I had said, I pretty much messed it up initially. So I didn't exactly have the right to make such a request, but I just decided to, let's see how it goes. So when eventually she came back, um,
December, yeah.
in December,
Hmm.
I still kept on communicating. She never mentioned anything about a gift or anything, but I kept on communicating. And one of those days, I asked her to, let's, excuse me, let's meet up somewhere and, get a talk and all of that. I'm glad that there was a positive response because, again, I was thinking maybe that would not come through, but then it did come through.
Hmm.
I honestly don't recall where exactly we went, but
It's
we did.
funny actually because where we went was the place where we did we met for our second date in 2023. So this
Okay.
was like a full circle moment, which we didn't know. It's after that we realized. Anyway, I took him somewhere because I had missed his birthday the week before. I had missed his birthday the week before. So I'm like, okay, let me take you somewhere. Let's do something fun. Since you want to hang out, we might as well hang out. And then also, I got you a birthday gift. Okay, so let me tell you guys about this birthday gift. When I was in the US and I was ready to come back, I was like, oh, let me get something for my mom. I was with my dad. I remember very vividly because he drove me there. And I'm like, should I ask my dad what to get this guy? But my dad is probably gonna be like, who is this guy you're trying to get a gift for? And then me, I'll be like, I don't even know, but we are friends. And I've never really gotten gifts for guys like that. If you're not my brother, I'm not getting you no gift. I don't know you like that. But I was like, let me get him a gift. I have nothing to lose. And by then we were just talking again in general. I was like, okay, he seems harmless. Whatever. It's just a gift. We won't die young. So I got him this nice sweater, which you guys will see in the picture right over there. I'll put it in the video. And then I gave it to him on the day when I came back. We did hang out. I gave you the gift.
She gave me the gift. I was very impressed, very happy.
You were surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Mm,
I was surprised. I was impressed, and I was happy. I mean, I never quite thought she was going to get me something. So we hung out, then I think we went over to a cafe of some sort,
mm.
and we got to sit down, and I began to speak about where I was, how things had been, the fact that I needed to go for therapy, and I did go for therapy, to heal and, really get my mind together, get myself in a very good place to be able to date again.
Mm.
And I spoke to her before. I asked her certain questions really regarding her life. Um, I was more particular about her relationship with her dad. So part of the things I said to her was that I was very happy that, she had come to a place of forgiveness, for her father, because it's really very important. You would want to date somebody who has a good relationship with her father in the case of men, and with their father rather in the case of men,
If they're alive as
if they're
well.
alive. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, and then if there is some kind of unforgiveness that has existed in one way or the other, it would be good that that is resolved before you're able to move forward. You
And
know.
I didn't know all that. So just so you guys are thinking, oh, she went to see her dad because there was some guy that was interested in the background, all that. None of that was the truth because I didn't know that. Me, I was just going to meet my dad to reconcile, and that's it.
Yeah, so I was very glad, about that. And I asked her different questions. What she thinks about men. I think I also asked a question
Mhm.
like that, and there were a lot of positive responses I got. So that kind of laid the ground for me to be able to go a little bit further. I'm glad. I give God the glory that she responded sincerely. Given all the positive answers that I was looking for, and I then spoke to her saying, "Look, I really want us to come back to how we were in 2023 before the whole things that happened that set us apart, so to speak." Uh, I was able to pour out my heart, I guess in a good way. I assume. Anyway,
Mhm.
I want to think it was good because we're here now.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah. So I told her that I really wanted to get back to how it was back then, and I wasn't looking to play games. I was pretty much serious about getting into a relationship and really seeing how it goes. Like being very much determined to ensure that it goes very
Positive.
well, positively. Yeah. And I think her response was it wasn't a yes, obviously. It wasn't a no. She just made
Mhm.
she just kept it open ended, sort of, saying
Mhm.
she will think about it and let's see how it goes. But really, for me, that was good enough, really, because having seen how it had happened previously in 2023, I, well, was ready for any kind of response, both negative or positive, or even neutral. So the fact that it wasn't negative, it wasn't also positive, it was neutral,
Yeah.
that still gave me some
Hope.
hope. Yeah. And I think I left it that way. And I said to myself that given what had happened, I would try not to push it. I try not to, ask questions in that regard. Oh, what's your decision? Have you made up your mind? And all of that. I didn't want to put her under any pressure. I just wanted her to be able to make the decision for herself,
Mhm.
by herself without being forced.
Mhm.
And you did make a decision eventually.
I did make my decision eventually, you guys. So guess what? We finished this date. He tells me what he just told you guys. I go home, and as soon as I get home, what is going on? Because I'm like, I thought we're just friends, platonic friends. I mean, I got you the gift with no other intentions. God, what's up? What are we saying? But I had already told God that I need whoever we're going to be with to be precise, straight to the point, be serious, know what they want, tell me their intentions by December 2024. Mind you, now we are in December 2024 when he's telling me everything. I'm like, nah, this can't be it. And I never know. Never know. So I took my sweet time. I'm like, let's get through December. Let's get to New Year's. And then January 2025, we were still communicating as friends. I already knew his intentions, but I tried and I kept praying to God, please don't let my heart get involved. I really want to make a decision where my head is clear and I'm using my head and not my feelings, so that I can really be sure that this is the man you want for me, or is this the relationship you even want for me? Because I don't want games. I don't want to waste my time. I'm here to break generational curses, patterns, start afresh. I ain't got time. No, no time. So I took my time. He did bring up here and there, hey, what's up? So what are you saying? But I was like, nah, I took my time. So let me tell you guys, once I was processing everything, what was going on. So me in my head, I'm thinking about, okay, I remember I asked God that we actually meet in 2023. We met in 2023. And then I also was watching whether his actions were matching his words. Okay. I wanted to see if what he's telling me he's going to do. That was very important for me. I needed somebody that had integrity. And by watching what he was saying and what he was doing, it was starting to match. I'm like, okay, he told me he's gonna do this, he's doing that. Oh, he told me he's gonna move here, he's moving here. He said he's gonna drive here, he's going there. He said he wants to apply for this thing, he will apply. I'm like, okay, all right, see how you doing. It was important for me. And then what I never told you, I think I told you, is back in December 2022, there is a lady at church. We had finished church. I was going down the stairs of the church. We meet in the staircase. And then she tells me, hey, Jen, can I speak to you for a second? I'm like, yes. And then she's like, so I don't mean to like interrupt in your life and all, but I had a dream a few days ago, a few weeks ago. I also had a vision when we were praying. Like it was, she's in the women's ministry when they were praying. And she was saying, I saw you in a white dress, your wedding and all of that. I'm like, oh, okay, thank God. Because I knew I had started to pray about it. But she's like, but I was hesitant. It took me a few weeks to come and tell you because you know how people can be when you tell them about dreams and visions, they will think you're making it up. So I'm like, okay, thank you for sharing. And then she tells me she had a dream. I don't really speak to this lady. Well, at least I did not speak to her before, like I speak to her today. It was just the lady you see at church. She's there, she's minding her business and all of that. And she's like, I had a dream where in there you were with your husband and his name is Okere, Okoro, or Kira, somebody like that is from the West, seems like Nigerian, Ghana, something like that. So she's asking me, she's like, do you know anybody by Okoro, Okere, Okiro, like anything okay, Okire, Oko? I'm like, Mama, I don't know anybody by that name. I've never met anybody by that name. I have no idea. But me, I never take things like that lightly, in as much as people tell me whatever they see, I always write it down somewhere in my journals. Because I'm like, God, I've been praying about this. You're speaking to random people. That's the only way God gets my attention, when he speaks to people that I don't really engage with because they don't know exactly what I'm dealing with. So she told me that. So then, fast forward to now, January, I'm like, what is this guy's name, first of all? What was it? I don't know why this thing came back. I remembered you sent me your CV, right?
Yeah.
So I went on your CV and I checked your last name. I'm like, no, this can't be it. This lady can't have seen this. Ain't no way, okay? Because his name, is close to what she kept saying. So I'm like, no, God, no, this is too much of a coincidence. This is pas possible. So I'm putting together the fact that we made in 2023. I'm putting together that she had a dream and a vision and specifically had your name in there or something close to your name. And then I'm watching your character and your actions. And then the way we've been talking, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling threatened. He's telling me about his family that's here in Canada as well. When I mean his family, I mean his uncle. He has a very close uncle that has children that are adults as well. So I'm like, okay, he has some sort of family. So he's not some loner person out there trying to live his life and don't have family, because I did not want that. Some people like it. It's not for me. I need somebody that's accountable. I need someone that if we have issues, we know that there's a family member, there's someone close by that we can call on when we need the help. And then I added prayer. My God, at this point, love is always a chance and it's a risk. So eventually I gave my yes in January. So we're going to fast forward now. Gave my answer in January 2025 last year. Said yes to him. So in April, you asked me to come and meet your uncle. So he asked me to come and meet his uncle and the family. I'm like, oh my God, this is just 3 months, my guy. But I'm also like, you know what? When people know what they want, who am I? So May, you came to meet my family at home. And then he started to ask me about, my plans. Do I want to get married? How long do I feel makes sense? And me, I'm like, a year and a half. And he's like, well, for me, 6 months. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I think 6 months is crazy, sir. But he was determined, he was serious, but at the same time, he wasn't pushing. So I'm like, okay, someone who knows what they want. Mind you, I always prayed to God and said, I want a relationship that can last up to a year, then marriage. I don't want the 1 year, 1 year and a half, 2 years. We are still trying to figure out. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge people that are in those situations because everybody has their own realities. There are those that are in school, there's long distance. Sometimes people don't live in the same city and country. Do you? Me, I did not want that. I always prayed to God. I said, 1 year tops, we are married. The rest we'll figure out once we're married. So he says 6 months. So I'm like, 6 months is kind of like tomorrow. So we kept going by faith. Things worked out. God really was faithful to us. And we got engaged in September, got married in on November 15th. Remember I told you guys memorize November 15th? November 15th, 2025, we had our traditional wedding. Okay. November 15th, 2023, I told you guys I went to do a bridal makeup. There's a bridal makeup that I went to do with some friends that just wanted to try something on a dark skinned girl or tone. I put a picture in the part one in the video. I did not know I was just doing a bridal makeup for a friend. November 15, 2025. So 2 years later, she's doing my makeup at home. And then she's like, Jen, this morning I was looking at, you know how iPhone or Android can always remind you 2 years ago and all of that. And it reminded her of the makeup that we did on November 15th, 2 years before. I'm like, this is crazy.
Prophetic.
So she pulled it out. I'm like, hey, no way. And I had to go through my own pictures as well and videos, and I found it there, November 15, 2023. And the same girl is doing my makeup, and this time I guess it was prophetic. The same girl that had done the makeup 2 years ago as just a test actually became my makeup artist on the actual day, on November 15th. Our family were present. We were very happy. We did not expect that wedding to be the way it was, but it was great. God really came through for us. And then 1 week later, November 21st, Lord have mercy, November 21st, 2025, on a Friday, we got wedded, we got married. Oh, yeah. We got married. Our families were present, our friends were present. I've never seen so much favor in my life. I had friends that were very, very helpful, people that were sending money left and right and center, people that were helping in different ways. I mean, God was just amazing. I may insert a couple of videos here and there of us dancing at the wedding, maybe not too much, but just a little bit to give you guys a snapshot. And then the next day, November 22nd, this is where again the forgiveness story comes in again. We take our bags to head to the airport because we were heading to our honeymoon. When we get to the airport, my phone reminds me 2 years ago. So I check my phone, November 22nd, 2023. I'm gonna put again here in the video. I was at the same airport, but the same November 22nd, 2023, 2 years before, I was heading to go visit my father for the first time, which is the vlog that you guys saw on my page. Now, please, I know people believe in chance, and people believe in things are just coincidences. Me, I do not think it's a coincidence. November 22, 2023, I was at the same airport going to visit my father and meet him for the first time so we can reconcile and the forgiveness journey can begin truly, because it had begun, but not really. November 22nd, 2024, 1 year later, I was back in the US with my brother going to visit my father, and that's when we started to talk again, just as platonic friends. Just so happened that For some reason, we both have time, and God just miraculously happened to give us the opportunity when I am in my father's house for him to walk into my life. November 22nd, 2025, we are at the same airport heading to our honeymoon. Now, call it chance, call it coincidence, call it the universe, call it what you want to call it, but I truly believe that my forgiveness journey and my reconciliation journey had absolutely everything to do with how I met my husband, how we began to speak again. Because in 2023, we tried to speak, it didn't work.
Yeah.
But it's when I went to meet my dad towards the end of 2023 and started that journey. All of a sudden, when I'm back into my father's house and things are now okay, all of a sudden we begin to speak again. And then 1 year later, we're actually on our way to our honeymoon. C'est comme, why? So that's why I wanted to share my story, guys. I know I didn't let my husband talk a lot. So now you know he's more introverted. I am the one that talks too much. But that's the story. And as I said, I know I talked about a lot about love and so on and so forth, but really the essence of why I'm sharing what I'm sharing is because when I was looking at the dates and I was looking at everything, nothing seems coincidental at all. Everything seemed to be connected, and it all was connecting back to meeting my dad. There's other doors in my life that opened after I forgave him. I received my citizenship in about 3 months instead of 18 months. My Canadian citizenship instead of 18 months that they said on the website. They were very specific. 18 months, you might as well chill and wait. But after I met him, 3 months in, got mine. Now, again, tell me it's a coincidence, tell me it's not connected, but I'm a child of God and I believe that everything happens for a reason. So, my advice to someone right now, and what we really want to lay across is ask the Holy Spirit what it is that might be limiting you from entering into whatever God has for you. It could be work, it could be your career, maybe it's up and down. It could be that maybe your family, there's a lot of things happening and you don't know what it is, but there is always a person that God will choose that decides to pay a price so that their family can move forward. And you can be that person. It's going to take sacrifice. You may be awake praying at night whilst everybody's sleeping. You may be going through things that nobody understands. People may even say, you that keep telling us about God, where is your own God? Because you yourself, you're not married. You yourself, your life is not moving forward. You have no papers. You have nothing. That was initially my life. But today, God made it happen. We got married in less than a year. We're living our lives very calmly. And then the good news is when you decide to make a price, to pay the price and make a sacrifice for your family and to pray and to intercede or to ask God to intervene on behalf of your family, God opens the door for other family members. If I tell you how I ended my December 2025, you will not believe it. I had another family member in my life as well that got engaged in a way we did not expect. And they're looking forward to being married. So, okay, all that to say, God is good, God is faithful, stay strong, don't give up. I know it may look like, oh my God, my life has moved on forward. What's going to happen? And maybe you can share as well with men out there or with people that may feel like, I feel like my age is moving forward. I've tried. It's just not working. It's not my thing. They've given up on hope. I don't know if you want to share something with them and then tell you guys what's next.
Okay, I guess I would say for the men out there, it's never really too late. Even if you feel you're older or in advanced age, God is still in the business of, bringing people together. It's there in the scripture, none shall lack her mate. So God wants, people to find their own person eventually. So we just need to keep praying. We just need to keep trusting God. And eventually God will do it at his own time. We just have to be patient and trust in him.
That's right. So thank you guys for watching. Really, last advice as well is in terms of dating, don't complicate it. Just put it into God's hands, but be open-minded. It's not everybody that will come from your church necessarily. It's not everybody that will come from your circle. It's not everybody that will come from a place you know. It's not everybody that will come from your tribe. It's not everybody that will come from your country. It's not everybody that will have your skin color. It's not everybody that will come, will have the same race as you. So be open because God can surprise you. And it's now that I'm realizing that it makes sense that I was always, for some reason, just attracted to someone and always wanted someone from West Africa because he's from Nigeria. I'm from Rwanda. It's a combination nobody can ever, I guess, put together. There are very few couples from Rwanda and Nigeria, but we were both determined and we knew what we wanted, and we were not so fixed on country and so on. We just wanted to be happy. We just wanted to be friends and be happy and let God do the rest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this testimony. I know it was a little longer than expected, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. May it encourage you. And if you're dealing with anyone that you're having a hard time to forgive, I understand you. I hear you. The key is pray for them. Pray for them until the love of God fills your heart for them. Trust me, one day you end up loving them more than you ever thought you could. Because the way I love my dad today is, I can't explain it. Just because I kept praying for God to fill me with love, for God to bless him, bless his new family, bless whatever he does, and so on and so forth. And now we're happy, and we're living our lives. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. My God, we said a lot of things.
Yeah.
But if you guys have questions, please add a comment. One day I'll be able to get to it and answer it. And if my husband is available again, because he prefers to be in the background and mind his business and live his life. So it was really an honor for him to sacrifice his time to be with us, and all of that. So share your comments if you have questions, and I pray this encourages you.
Amen.
God bless you guys. Ciao and take care. Bye bye.